Hello, and welcome to the Meditation Conversation. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and today I don't have a guest. It's just me. I'm trying something new. I was encouraged to do a solo episode, and so I'm going to try it out. And I would love to know what you think about it. So feel free to hit me up. Send me an email at themeditationconversation@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Kara_Goodwin_meditation. So feel free to send me feedback. I would love to know what you think of this. The topic that I want to get to today is integration. So I have a membership community, and one of the members, Jane, hello, if you're listening, was just asking recently, what do we mean by integration? And I loved this question because it is something that gets thrown around a lot. And I say this a lot, like, oh, I'm going to need to integrate that, or I'm going through an integration process. So, what do we mean by this? And the context for the recent conversation was around a retreat that I hosted recently with Michael Massey. And we had some amazing guests, including Jane, this was kind of the root of her question is, as we're talking about integrating from the retreat, what are we talking about? Um, and anyway, the retreat was remarkable. It was powerful. And there were so many shifts and so many people going through transformation. And so we were commenting after the retreat, there were communications going around of like, be sure you give yourself time to integrate. And really, what we mean by this is in terms of consciousness, we are going from, there are different ways to look at it. You can think of it as going from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness, um, to expanding to a new level of awareness. Um, Basically, anybody who is going through transformation is opening more and more and expanding themselves more and more to uncover new parts of themselves, to wake up new parts of themselves. And when we have powerful awakenings, because we probably are having like smaller awakenings that are more subtle, that are not requiring kind of a big quote unquote integration. So if you are in a retreat setting, for example, you can have like a pretty big opening, a pretty big awakening into a new level. And so it's not like you're becoming something that you weren't, but it's more like you're uncovering more of what has been hidden within you. Um, and so it can be more noticeable, and it can feel almost like there are two versions of you. Like there's the everyday me that I came to this retreat with, and there's this new me that I'm leaving with. And they can almost feel like they're at odds with each other, or that that you almost are like toggling between them. I know that I felt this when I came back from my retreat and I kind of unpacked everything. I mean, literally, like unpacked my belongings. And I was just watching like the Colts game, just trying to kind of come down from this huge high that I'd had from, riding these waves of expansion. And it was just difficult. I did feel kind of like I was kind of in two different versions of myself. So integration is the sort of that absorption of the old into the new, so that it's not these two different parts of us, or sort of becoming used to the new version, like gaining the new version as the default. Because it's not like when we expand our awareness that the old us goes away. It's not like, oh, I'm this new person. We still have our old, who we were used to being. And then, but it's just kind of like we open up some more. So it's integrating, it's kind of marrying and connecting those two, so that ultimately they become one, and that becomes your default. So another way that I like to think about this is like stories on a building. So imagine you are in this skyscraper and it's so big that you can't even see the top. You don't even know how many floors there are. Every time you think you see the top of it, you realize like there are way more floors even above what you think is the top. And let's say that, you're at floor 30. You just are your comfortable everyday beingness is on floor 30, and you may go down. Sometimes you may feel like, you know I need to spend, today or this week or whatever at floor 20, just because there's a lot going on. There's a lot hitting me and I'm just not feeling like being on floor 30 right now. So I'm going to spend time on floor 20, and that's fine. You may not want to make your base there. But you can dip down there, or you may just get triggered and find yourself at floor 1. And you may have periods where you lift up. You may have a great meditation and you lift up into floor 50 for a few moments, and then you come down, but your default is pretty much around floor 30. Well, you can have an expansive experience and feel your floor, like your default, or that you're able to hang at floor 80 all of a sudden. And you're not used to being at floor 80. And so there's kind of a reconciliation that happens, because you know where you're comfortable and where your default is, but you also love being at floor 80. And it's this like, it can feel like those floors are at odds with each other. Like I can't be at both. I can either be my regular, or I can be this heightened, higher. So to me, integration is that process of kind of making floor 80 your default. And so it's not like you get rid of floor 40. It's still there, but your platform rises, your default rises. And so it might not be all the way up at 80. If 80 was this peak experience that you had, your default floor, you may come down to about 60 or something, but your floor raises. And that integration is just the making harmony, like letting that be a harmonious thing that is fluid and comfortable and just part of you, rather than more of a jolting kind of, off and on, like where they're not in harmony with each other, and it's kind of like one or the other. So this is how I experience, integration and what it means to me. Maybe it means something different to you. And I would love to hear that if you have different ideas or experience with integration. Tell me. I want to hear about it. Let me know what you think about this little solo, episode. And if you love it, share it. And don't forget, you can rate and review on Apple or whatever. But I really appreciate you tuning in. Love hearing your feedback. And I look forward to the next meditation conversation, even if it's just with myself.